versus DemiLove. So to the bottom right hand side, we're going to have our blue Prolos player. It is going to be Stork. And he's going to be playing against the green Zerg player. It is Miracle. Alright, so getting this up. Miracle is of course going to be DemiLove here, if you guys were unaware. So I'll probably be calling him maybe a bit of both, but probably mostly DemiLove going into this, going through this. So, thank you very much, first of all, as we kick this off, to Risky, who is going to hit up an 8-month resub to start the stream. So thank you very much, Risky. And again, how's everyone doing today as we get into this first game? Do let me know what's up. Do go tell everyone that this is live, because these are going to be some incredible games we have going for us throughout the entirety of the day. So really looking forward to this. Should be great. Should be a lot of good stuff happening and a lot of good games to bring you guys. So yeah. We'll see what happens in game number 1. Stork coming in here has been playing a little bit recently. Obviously, played in, I think, the Lima League the other day or so. But he's been playing a little bit late recently. And yeah, interesting to see him coming back and playing some games. So it'll be fun to see how this goes. We are going to be on best of 3s today, guys. Best of 3s throughout. And again, the idea is that the top 8 players will qualify. And as the top 8 players qualify, there's also the winner bracket. The winner of the winner bracket gets $50 too. So there's a double elim bracket, so lots of games where the top 8 will then advance to play tomorrow, Wednesday, Monday, and Tuesday in group stages, and a week on Wednesday in the playoffs, if they make it there, of course. Early on in this game, that Resonant Enclaves comes up here from Stork, and it's been a fairly simple opening out of our Zerg player to the top right, to the top side of the map with 3 hatches on the way. We're going to see DemiLove just playing very carefully. He's going to add on some extra spore crawlers, just make sure, you know, he's not going to die to anything like DTs or so, or an Oracle play. So he's just playing very safely in the early stages. Did you see Stork clicking on 3 gates at the front, which is a little bit more aggressive than usual for this adept play? Might just be that he wants to wall off, but it might just be that he wants to go super aggressive with this, as we do see the Overlord in the main base. We'll scout through, we'll see this Twilight Council in just a moment. I mean, it's not too much of a surprise to see the Resonating Glaives build order, is something we see almost all of the time. So we're just going to be seeing this Overlord getting picked off. It's going to go down, and Stork, well, he'll supply block his opponent here for a couple of moments, and there is the Dark Shrine coming in. So this is going to be a lot of aggression out of Stork. Now, even if Spore Crawler's already up, what we could see from this is a couple of Archons coming into play, although that's generally seen with a Warp Prism, and right now there's not a Warp Prism on the map because there's no Robo Facility on the map, so that'll be something to be, you know, that's something that's quite interesting to see whether it'll be added on or not. And Stork for now just adds on 4 more Depths as the first 5 come across the map and get ready to attack. DemiLove actually has plenty of units on the way up, 20 Lings, 3 Banelings on the already morphing. He should have enough to defend against this. The problem is, actually, maybe for DemiLove here, that he's kind of going to be quite low on workers, I guess. He's on 39 drones against 43 probes, and while he cleans this up very easily, well, I guess, yeah, he cleans this up very easily. Stork was actually a bit of a mistake, actually, to kind of warp on in there, to shade on in. He should have probably cancelled those shades. It's very hard to tell, though, because he didn't see that many units initially. So that was nice by DemiLove, again, some good pickoffs, and again, that sort of makes up for his lack of workers, because it means he can be a bit more greedy now, although he is actually still making Zerglings, which, I don't know how necessary that is. Anyways, we're going to see him catching more Depths here, and those Depths are going to go down too, so Stork, losing all of his earlier Depths here that he was pressuring with. Now he's got 3 DTs warping in, but they're just going to walk across the map on their own, so it'll take a while to get there. And when they do get there, they're going to be greeted by a whole bunch of Spore Crawlers, at least in the main and natural. The third base doesn't have one yet, it is now on the way, though by the time the DTs get here, the lair's not going to be too far off either, so Dark Temple might get a bit of damage done. Let's find out. It'll be interesting to see whether he just sort of completely commits to one base, or whether he feels as though it might be just best for him to split these up and just kind of work away at worker here, worker there, and so on and so on. He's going towards the third base now. That Spore Crawler will come up, but if he can get in, and if he can attack it into high, but he can't. Nice little pull from DemiLove. Going to block these DTs off, and these DTs are not going to be able to get close to that Spore Crawler, so they go down as well, and DemiLove continues to defend again and again, and when you defend so much like this, DemiLove's got to be feeling fairly confident, you know. He's taken down so many units, it's cost him a fair few Zerglings, but at the same time, he's been fairly comfortable in terms of his worker count because of the, you know, the way the game's going. Although that being said, I guess he did have maybe quite a low worker count to make sure he was kind of trading well against this. So I guess it's not, I don't think it's been brilliant for Stork, but it's definitely not the end of the world, not just yet at least. So, anyways, going to be seeing these Spire on the way up now from DemiLove to the top left-hand side. We're going to see Hatchery coming down over to the right-hand side as well. There's a +2 melee upgrade. and the pneumatized carapace also coming in. So DemiLove just setting up into some needle display and just getting that overload speed as well to maybe spread his overloads out, scout a bit more, maybe even just go for some drop play as the game continues. Zergling's going to run around the left side of the main as the Queen just going to keep on pushing that Warp Prism away. So Stork still not finding a way to really get much damage done. This Warp Prism once again just having to back off over to the left hand side here as we see the 4th hatchery going to be finishing in a moment or two. Behind all of this aggression, Stork obviously settled up into a 3rd base. He got his Blink upgrade started, he got a Forge and a Robo added on. So he's going into very standard +1, Stork and Immortal at this point. So kind of changing it up into what's become a very sort of standard composition, although for now across the map he's actually just got Sentry Adept, which is very interesting because with aliens on the map, and the Sentry Adept has, well, definitely some weaknesses. Also with Muters about to be on the way, there's not really much that shoots up right now. So you'll see Stork is just going to commit over to the right hand side, and he's just going to be working his way through this hatchery. So he's just going to try and get rid of the 4th base here. We're going to see some Adepts will shade on forwards, and they're just going to continue working their way through this and try and see what they can pick off. So Adepts going to keep moving forwards. We'll once again target this hatchery down. A few more Stalkers being added in, and Immortal comes across the map as well. Stork will get rid of the 4th base, and I guess what we're seeing here is that DemiLove, maybe again, while he was trading well early, he didn't have a good economy. He didn't just drone up and then defend. He defended, you know, he defended because he was over defensive maybe. Yeah, he made too many units and not enough drones. We're going to be seeing a few Adepts here. They'll get cleaned out again, but a few more workers going down. There has been 12 of them killed throughout the game by Stork. So, yeah, again, I guess sometimes as well you don't realize how many workers the Adepts actually killing while they're surrounded by Zerglings and so on too. That obviously helps him out also, as with the 4th base down, he's going to keep on pushing. I mean, the Muters are coming out now, and so as the Muters gather together, the question is there enough anti in this army of Stork? And, well, he does have Blink, he does have Guardian Shields available, although he would want to save as much energy as possible on the sentries to deal with these Banelings, which are going to be coming in shortly. Although the Banelings don't have Bane speed, so it's not as big an issue as normal. Nice couple of force shields there as the Banes try and go around the side to the south. You can see the Ling's Banes trying to come in. You can just see that these Mutalisks, they know they can't fight into this, they know there's too much anti-air. And it's going to be, a few more Zerglings just trying to move forwards once more. A few more force fields coming down. A few Banes around the backside. Again, trying to see what's up and what's going on. The Adepts are going to shade into the natural expansion, leaving just the Stalkers and Sentries here. But I think it's an okay decision because you can just sort of see he has enough. And Stork is going to be taking our first map of the day here. Of this. Sick. There. Figured out the issue. Alright then, so game 2. And we're going to be kicking off on Apotheosis as we mentioned, and to the bottom right hand side will be our green Zerg player. It's DemiLove from Root Gaming. And to the upper left is going to be our blue Protoss player. It is Stork. So setting up into the second game, Stork leads 1-0 in our first series of the day. Interested to see how this is going to go. Obviously, we've got so many interesting matches today. I just jumped into this one because it's one that I saw was starting and that we could jump into nice and quickly. So that's sort of what we did. Again, we'll be making sure to try and get you guys some games from Dark and Classic and Stats. We'll try and bring you guys as many of those games as possible as we go by. But this is how we start. In fact, the winner of Stork, DemiLove, plays against the winner of Stats, Winter. Now that could be pretty fun seeing Stats and Stork in a PvP. So that might come up next. We'll just have to see how it goes as well and see what we can get invites into, of course. So, man, everything seems to be a bit wrong today. I've just come home and everything just seems a little bit off, you know? Like, things don't feel as though they're in the right position and this and that and all sorts. I don't know. It's, feels strange. Anyways. We have a probe hidden to the left-hand side here from Stork, so maybe we're going to get up to something in the early stages, although he has just built a Twilight Council back at home. So Twilight Council coming in his main base and just going to be seeing him, well, maybe once again just going in towards that Resonating Glaives play. I mean, it is Apotheosis, it does take a long time to get across the map, but it can still be a nice way to play, and he might just open it up with a Robo Facility this time to get himself into a Warp Prism, and then just sort of harass with Adepts and a Warp Prism and just see what he can do and see what he can get up to. So I'm just going to be seeing this Adept continue to come down to the south side from Stork, and we'll be popping in towards the bases shortly to try and pick up some worker kills, get some damage done, and see what's going to happen. So, Adept going to shade in towards that main base. We're just going to be seeing these Zerglings here coming forwards, and they'll, actually, they're going to be able to deny that Adept from doing any damage from now. In the main base, though, again, he denies it. So, Adept only with 1 kill so far, and that Adept now goes down, but one Zerg kill for the Adept. Well, that's a nice cleanup there by DemiLove. So again, nice cleanup from him. But look at this, he's made a bunch of lings and he's already once again 4 workers down. You know, Stork is just forcing DemiLove into bad economic positions, it seems, time and time again, without really even doing anything. Big differences this time around, with only 2 extra gateways coming in from Stork. Means that we're going to have 3 gates in total, compared to the 4 that we saw last time. So it might have just been, I mean, maybe just a different build load, because he wanted to wall off completely with gateways early. Maybe it's just he likes to use that variant of the build on that map for other reasons. There's a lot of things it could be. However, for now, we're going to see DemiLove is once again setting up very similar to the last game, the Evolution Chamber, probably for the melee upgrade. And the Baneland Nest about to finish too, to get some Banelands in here and rolling around in the very near future also. So that's all setting up. A few seconds continue to move forwards, but don't find too much. They actually find a probe. So we're going to stop Stork from getting onto the gold base super quickly. 2 more Adepts currently on the way out. So more and more Adepts join up, and as Gladeus finishes, we'll see whether Stork does want to go across the map to see what's up or not. So we're going to be seeing Robo added on. And again, for now, just sitting fairly passively with these 4 Adepts. I mean, it's not like he has 8 Adepts and he's just going to go straight across the map with loads of units to try and get something done. So it just looks as though he's just going to play passively. Still has a probe to the left-hand side, which, again, might come into play a little bit later on. For now, though, just going to sit back and see what happens. This Dark Shrine coming up from Stork. So he's going to be setting up with this and getting into those Dark Templar once again. See if he can be a bit more successful with these this time than he was the last time around, where he didn't really get anything done at all. So just going to be seeing these Adepts continue to move down the right-hand side. So they're going to get set and ready to go in just a few moments and towards these mineral lines. Highland builds up to the left side for Stork, so he is going to get ready to warp in. I mean, slow warp-ins are better than walking across the map here on Apotheosimus, almost definitely, as we see. First set of Adepts actually cancel, but the rest of the Adepts come in towards the mineral line, sitting a little bit of a choke point, and I love what he's done. He's actually sending the rest of his Adepts to the low ground, so this is a pretty cool little unique way of playing. As we're going to be seeing those 2 Adepts actually cancel their shades, so they're going to stick around in here, trying to pick up the Queen, or at least force a transfuse. He's back at home, just warping in a few more Adepts, nothing too exciting. And we'll see Stork, again, not really committing, just applying pressure and saying, hey, make sure you've got units, because if you don't have units right now, you're going to be in a lot of trouble and you're going to take some damage, so just watch out. 5 gates coming up now from Stork, so really getting in towards this free base play, because he set up that gold base during the, in the meantime, as he's been kind of sat back. So all of these units are going to be pouring out shortly from our Protoss players. He continues to go into Warp Prism now. No signs of further tech, actually. He didn't start a Blink. He hasn't started up anything else here. He hasn't started up a Forge. So he's really only looking to maybe kind of be super aggressive again, maybe with the Dark Templar and then the Adepts again. It's interesting. The 3 TTs warp in. They all warp into the left-hand side. So it'll be interesting to see where they go in very shortly, as we're going to be having another DT warped in. So that's going to be 4 Dark Templar here. Set up and ready to go. Adepts still moving around the center, so they'll probably try and hit in towards the gold base, while the DTs come in from a different angle and go in just a little bit of a different direction. So for now, they just sit just to the left-hand side. These Adepts joining up, a few more Adepts warping in again. And this is Stork, ready for this attack. 6 DTs in total now, with 2 more coming in from the north side, so let's see what he can get up to. These DTs, they have to be careful of Banelands, actually, because Banelands definitely could actually be very annoying. But there's the Spire up once again to try and help defend this. If the Adepts come in, though, they're already going to be picking off a fair few drones and a lot of other units here. DTs at the front coming in, but now we have the Overseer up, so DTs will be chased down fairly swiftly. 3 DTs to the left are just going to run away, probably not even got time to get their way through this hatchery. And DemiLove again finds himself defending against the Adepts and the Dark Templar in the early stages of the game. He looks very, very good here. As these Adepts going to come over to the right-hand side, we're going to be seeing 2 DTs actually still left over 3 DTs. I didn't think it was worth it for him to actually attack this, because I thought the DTs would just die before anything would happen. But he does pick up the kill, because his opponent seems to be very, very, very late to kind of respond. We also see from DemiLove going to be moving onto the map, and this is of course when Stork has to go defensive mode. So he's been the aggressor all game long, just pressuring, saying, poking around. Didn't really commit to too much until very recently, but just been kind of having a look around, seeing what's up. Now we're going to see these mutas coming in. This is where the Stalkers are punished a little bit for not having early kind of blink and not getting a +1 upgrade, because they're not going to be able to attack against the mutas as easily here initially and in the early stages. So we're just going to be seeing these meters from DemiLove still just moving around. Although they haven't done too much yet, a couple of workers towards the gold base, that's about it. Now into the main he goes, but Mothership Core here, and that's the thing, Stork is just so well prepared in all the angles to defend. Obviously now as the Mothership Core goes down, so he'll need something else to defend here shortly, but you know, for the moment, he had all of his angles covered. Mothership Core in the main, Stork to the third, and then Storks can pull to the natural very easily if they need to, as well as, ooh. Well, this is interesting, because the Stork is going to sit to the left-hand side, and as the meters come over here we go, Storkers are going to start getting some damage done. And they do have blink, but they're not going to use it actually, as the meters take quite a lot of damage. As you can see, the meters still just flying around. So DemiLove still looking to see what's up. Stalkers coming through the center of the map. I'm just going to be seeing 2 more meters still building. So a few more meters still building. And Immortal and a few sentries coming down the right. Nice little attack on the Immortal there. Pops the barrier. Then he targets the sentries. They're actually pretty valuable units. No force fields. If there's no force fields then in a major fight, there's going to be a lot of trouble here for the Stalkers because they're going to get surrounded by Zerglings. No way to get out of it, and that could really hurt. So picking off those few sentries with Mutalisks ahead of time might definitely help, as we're going to be seeing the Mutas will fall back now. Again, Mutas haven't been too great this game, to be fair. They've been, you know, he's lost a lot for the damage he's done. Picking off those sentries definitely starts to make up for that though, so Stalkers coming down the left-hand side and getting looking to see what they can attack into. I mean, the 4th base here, not really that exposed though. There's some creep out to the left-hand side. There's a lot of Lings and Mutas, and you look at the composition, probably could do with just a few more sentries against them force fields. You actually see DTs warping in, so probably a couple Archons going to come into play. There's a Warp Prism also here to provide some faster warping. So there's them Archons in Stork. He's going to get ready to attack into this. Going to be pushing on in from the left-hand side. Stork is working their way through a Queen here and just, well, working their way against what they can. A few force fields coming down. 4th and 5th force field coming down. I'm just going to be seeing those Mutas there. Unable to really attack in, you know, on their own without the Ling Bane. You can't commit into this, so he is going to end up losing the 4th, and it's a good engagement by Stork to make this happen, to get those force fields in location. It's really, really nice, as we'll see the Adepts and Stalkers, Sentries, Archon and Immortal continue to move now over to the right-hand side. Bane's going to roll forwards once again, Zerglings keep moving forwards too, and you see the Stalkers starting to split up a little bit, just to keep on fighting against this. An Archon coming in, actually doing a fair amount of splash to the Mutalisks, and it has, you know, what's actually left over here towards the end, he actually just warps in more Adepts. Is that a mistake? Because I don't think he has enough anti-air. I think Stork, if he'd warped in another round of Stalkers already, might be okay, because he might be able to actually kill off these Mutas, but by warping in another round of Adepts, he's just coming into kind of mineral or worker damage, so he's going to split these up. He's going to start going towards this gold base. Mutas will come back and clean these up very quickly, though. And so Stork is in a lot of trouble, because he just lost his entire army, and this has not worked out for him already, or so far. The Adepts shade on over to the natural expansion. They're going to get picked off very easily. And we're going to be seeing a couple more Adepts going down. 9 more Stalkers being added on here by Stork. And there's a couple of Banelings coming in. And 9 more Mutalisks also being added. Adept goes down. And again, Mutalisks up in the sky. Just continuing to fly around a little bit and see what else they can do. Clean on up. And now they're going to go across the map now that everything's cleaned up on his bottom right side. We're going to be seeing DemiLove going towards the top right and seeing what he can get up to. He wasn't too successful with the Mutas before when he attacked. But after winning a fight or two, everything could change. Mutas pull back and still some Zerglings towards the top. Nexus coming down over on the 4th base. Zerglings going to come in and get a pretty quick surround on this. So this Nexus is going to go down almost immediately. And again, DemiLove at this point, when you win a fight like that and you have Mutas up, I almost feel as though you're just destined to win the game, because at that point, what does the Protoss really do? They're already behind against a composition or a set of units which just snowballs. And well, here we go. You can just see there isn't even enough Stalkers to realistically fight against the Mutalisks. Some Zerglings coming in as well. Just need to get rid of these sentries, man. It's actually taking them forever to get through these sentries, it feels like, despite the +1 fire attacks. A few more Stalkers will warp in, but as the Zerglings keep coming forwards, this is going to get cleaned up. And Stork is going to lose game number 2, and we are going to be heading to game number 3 for our first game of the day. Going to be tired. I'm going to try and sleep for like 10 hours or something, because I've just not slept properly for about 5 or 6 days. Like, when was the Casper Cup qualifier? That was the first one of those was Thursday, I think. And I had to wake up for early Thursday, so yeah, since like Wednesday night I haven't slept properly. It's crazy. Anyways, we have to the bottom right hand side of the map our green Zerg player. It is going to be DemiLove from Root Gaming. He's going to be playing against the blue Protoss. It is Stork down at the bottom left hand side here. On New Gettysburg as well. Interesting map for game number 3. Obviously one of these maps where games can go long, games can just, you know, really kind of be very lengthy and kind of, you know, can really take a long time to sort of come into play and whatever, because of the fact that it's hard to attack on. Yeah, you can attack in the early game, but if you're trying to pour out of this narrow position and your opponent takes a low ground position with a concave, then yeah. So I really wish it'd stop showing me messages in game. I don't know why it started to do that lately, but it has, and it's somewhat frustrating. Anyways, we're going to be seeing this opening here. It's fairly standard from both, once again, early expansions, and we'll just wait a few moments to sort of really see where this is going to be headed, whether we're going to be seeing a Twilight Council, or whether we're going to be seeing a Stargate, maybe more common here, or New Gettysburg, even Skytoss to some extent is very kind of, is very much so the norm on this map, with the ability to take island bases as your extra bases. So you can see this probe just patrolling around, going to be set over to the right hand side, and there's that Zerglin speed now on the way up. So link speed starting to come on in, and there is Stargate starting to build from Stork as well. So Stargate's coming down, and what's going on? Well, not too much. Overload from DemiLove just coming over to the left hand side, and we're just going to be seeing another Overlord from DemiLove also just over towards the left. So very standard stuff, getting into positions to scout, and this Overlord will watch for the third base / natural, and this Overlord will be able to go in towards the main base in a little while just to keep on scouting here. So these Overlords are getting into position. We're going to see the third hatchery coming down from DemiLove. And again, nothing too crazy yet. The Stargate, as we mentioned for Stork, though, is on the web. So let's have a watch of this. Let's see what's going to be very standard Oracle, or are we going to see some Phoenix play? It is just going to be the Oracle to kick us off here. Guys, a few questions in the chat. So yes, all of these matches are played on the Korean server. You have no choice. You have to play on the Korean server for this event. It's a Korean Cup, and every single match in this cup is played on the Korean server. Even when we've had in the past like 2 foreigners play each other or so in the in like a group stage or something, they had to play on the Korean server because that's just the rules of the tournament, basically. So I think it's especially in the group stages. Maybe it's a bit different in the. I mean, there's so many Koreans anyway that pretty much every game's gonna be on Korea, but it's one of those things I think where the Chinese casters have difficulty swapping servers very often because of the have to change their VPNs and stuff, and that's a little bit of an issue for them if they have to kind of change to keep on following the players. That's why it's forced to be on the Korean servers. This Oracle goes down. Big mistake by Stork, who's just messing up a little bit here already in the early stages of this game, so has to sort of tighten up a little bit, has to be a little bit more careful. PvZ is going to go around the top side from DemiLove. So Feeling is going to go around the top side, and just going to see this Oracle is still going to be moving out as well. So second Oracle will hopefully be a little bit more successful than the first. There's a Void Ray on the way up. Again, we have seen Skytoss become somewhat of a kind of composition that's viable on this map. So it's going to be interesting to see if we actually see that, or if it's just going to sit around maybe to the side of the main base and just hunt for overlords, etc., and just do some kind of general damage out on the map rather than really aiming towards massing up multiple Void Rays, lots of Void Rays, and taking expansions on islands and that sort of play style. This Oracle just going to be moving around, and there's a few lings. I mean, there's a few lings on the map. There's nothing really too exciting though. Still, I mean, a few adepts coming over. There wasn't any really kind of tech behind the Stargate just yet. Just the Twilight Council now on its way. So these first few adepts don't really have much to go on. Having lost already one of the oracles kind of removes a lot of the power of this little bit of a push, and this oracle being such low health as well doesn't really have a lot of potential either, so it has to back away almost immediately. As we're once again going to be seeing the Adepts coming in once again. So Adepts come in once more. And again, I'm just going to be seeing Stork still have a little bit of a look around to see what else is happening. Again, not going to commit though. One of those things where it just isn't really worth worth committing, I guess. I mean, he's only got 4 Adepts, no upgrade on them. May as well just fall back and play a bit more passively. Oracle going to come into the main base, going to see Revelation dropping down, and I mean, that's one thing the Oracle can be good at, and that's why you want to keep the Oracles alive, because it does get to this point where Oracles can't really do much anymore. But if the Oracle, that's fine if the Oracles can't do much anymore, but then you may as well use, then it can still Revelate. For example, these Lings are Revelated, which means that he can see them everywhere, and he can just be very prepared wherever they decide to go to. Small Lings through the south side, they're going to be joining up here. DemiLove only on 50 drones, looking as though he wants to be very aggressive. 17 Balins start to morph in. DemiLove is really going to commit to kind of a big Ling Bane attack. And so Stork, his defense here is so important, because if he makes a good defense, he will take a huge lead in this game. He might even just straight up win the game. But if he does defend this, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Stork right now going to drop the first couple of force fields. They're good. Third force field, fourth force field. Really good force fields so far, because he's not letting the Balins get into the sentries. And that's where things start to go wrong. Once the Balins connect on the sentries die very quickly, and then there's no more force fields, and the rest of the Balins crashing into everything else. And that really is where the issue is. Look at this. The force fields are so well placed. Position him right next to each other just to make sure then Balins are not going to have a gap to sneak through, and just to make sure they can't get away. But look at this pylon over here also is going to block some units off. He's going to see nice pickups on the sentries just to keep them alive against these Zerglings warping, running across the map and reinforcing. Once again, Stork defends, and yeah, I think DemiLove, he was very all-in and very committed to that attack. He knows after throwing so many units away, not really achieving anything.